I'm preceding almost every episode here by saying, while I run, I don't consider myself a runner. Now, we're going back to episode 1 where Sinead Brannigan, fitness coach and running coach, says if you put one foot in front of the other, you are a runner. But there are the elite athletes and then there are the leisurely athletes. And that's kind of what today's episode is all about. And in saying that, I'm sitting here in the studio with 2 prospective half marathon runners. And guys, I want to ask you about your running careers to date, where you are, what you've done before, and then also about how you guys run in a group and the benefits of running a group. But we've got Damien and Aisling from Eirgen. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to come out and join us.
Good morning.
Welcome. Tell me, first of all, I know you both said off air there that you are looking at doing, or you're planning and training to do the half marathon this year. What sort of runs have you guys done before? Is this the first time doing a half, or are you both seasoned marathon runners and this is just a jog in the park for you?
I probably fit that category. I've done six marathons now at this stage.
Wow.
And multiple half marathons.
Okay.
So this is about getting the group around.
Okay.
The half marathon course.
Brilliant.
So this is going to be my first attempt at a half marathon.
Excellent.
I've done the VHI mini marathon a couple of years in a row, so that's just 10k.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of nervous and excited about trying to do the half marathon.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I mean, it's such a wonderful distance, and I've only done the half marathon once in the Waterford Viking Marathon, but it's such a lovely route and the atmosphere is amazing. I mean, Jamie, you can testify to that. Like, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Have you done of the 6 marathons that you've done? Have some of them been the WLR
Yeah,
Waterford Viking Marathon?
I've done the full marathon in Waterford twice.
Okay.
And I've done the half marathon twice.
Yeah.
In Waterford. And I've done Dublin a couple of times.
Brilliant.
Earlier this year I did Barcelona. But
Oh,
definitely
wow.
Waterford is, particularly on the Greenway, particularly when you go from Mount Congrove out, it's fabulous views. It's just really, really nice.
It's a really spectacular route, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Stunning.
Yeah.
And how is training going?
Training's going well.
Yeah.
The group, we have about 25 in the company that are doing it.
Wow.
So we have about 3 separate groups that meet separately. So we're running a half marathon team and we're running a 10k team.
Wow.
So the girls and the lads are doing really, really well. And we're about 9 weeks. Is it 9 weeks into the plan? 9 weeks of a 13-week plan.
Brilliant.
And everybody's doing well. We've had a couple of little injuries and stuff like that, but everybody's doing real well. Yeah. it's going well.
So talk me through the structure of how you kind of set your groups up then, because I mean, I know it sounds really simple, like, oh, you just tell everyone you meet on Thursdays at 6 and that's it. But people have lives, routines to fit around.
Yeah.
I presume people have different fitness levels, especially when they're starting out.
Yeah.
Like, Aisling, I suppose for you, given that this is your first half marathon, and you've obviously done a bit of running before, but taken that next step. How did the group scenario, first of all, how did it come about for you? And second of all, how has it helped you?
Well, I suppose it came out when Damien sent out an email just to the site saying, does anyone want to do some running? We're going to raise money for charity. And we'll be there to support you guys, from whether you want to do the half or the quarter. So I thought, right, okay. So I celebrated a significant birthday this year and I thought
Brilliant.
I wanted to do something for me. So I was going to try and do the half marathon, the Viking. So when I saw this, I thought this was a really good opportunity to actually have a reason to go out a few times a week with a bunch of people and know that I'd have to come in, the next day or the day and say, did you go? Are you going running? So that support and having that kind of structure going out 2 or 3 times a week was really important.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for an appointment and having almost that potential guilt if you don't show up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like I'd walk in, especially on a Monday morning if I was going out running on my own at the weekend to do the long run, and Damien would look at me and go, well, did you go out this weekend?
Yeah, you're being held
and the
accountable.
fear if I had to say no.
Yeah.
So it definitely helps, that support.
And Damien, how did you start running? How did you get into it? And how have you found, because I know some people love to train on their own and it's their, it's their headspace time. But obviously, you enjoy running in groups as well. So, how have you balanced that over the years?
Yeah, well, I started probably about 5 years ago. I was overweight, very overweight. So I decided I'd do a Couch to 5k app.
Fair play to you.
So I did 5k and I did that on my own. So running 30 seconds was very difficult to start off with. And I got to the 5k and then Patsy, who CEO in Eirgen, said, right, now push it on to 10k. And I did the 10k and then registered for the first WAC half marathon within the same year and did that and did it a good time. So then the next was go for a marathon. So then I did the Waterford Marathon then and just been addicted to it since.
Wow.
So I kind of balance, I like to run on my own, but the running with the group is really good because you see people that are starting off really getting stronger and getting faster as they go along, and the confidence it builds within the group is really good.
How many people altogether do you have in your groups?
There is 20 10k and there's 5 half marathoners.
Wow.
But again, Eirgen is great because it's on the old Comedian Road.
Yeah.
So it's not too far away from the Carriganore entrance to the Greenway.
Fab.
So when it was darker, we would run from Eirgen. So there's a 4 and a 5 mile loop around Eirgen that we can do. So we would kind of trot out and then trot back. But now that it's getting warmer and brighter, we hit the Greenway. So we go to Carriganore, start there and just go down to the Greenway. Yeah, so it's really good. And now that we started off with intervals of 1-2 minutes very early days. Now we're up to the guys running 30 or 20 minutes with a 2-minute break in the middle. So it's really come along. And the half marathon group are 4 or 5 miles every Tuesday. So we go Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then we meet on a Saturday. So it's that guilt factor. Yeah. You're going.
Yeah. And we have a WhatsApp group as well, so everyone is included in it.
Yeah.
And, there's a little bit of rivalry there as well, a little bit of competition.
And look, there's going to be naturally stuff is going to crop up. I mean, you might have confirmations or communions, so you might have a Saturday where a couple of people can't come along, or people could, like that they're just feeling shitty or whatever, know. But at the same time, it's, I suppose, just having that appointment where you go, oh, look, I don't feel like doing it, but I know once I'm there, I'll be able and I'll be delighted once it's done.
Yeah, and it's great. And again, it's a group that it's all different paces. There's no pressure on people to be fast. You go at the pace that suits you. It's all very comfortable and all good.
Yeah. And I think having people that have ran marathons before, like Damien and Patsy, and there's a couple of the other guys, they're really good and encouraging. And I definitely run faster when I'm in the group than I run on my own.
Yeah.
And even that kind of builds your confidence and your self-esteem. So it's really nice to have that support there when you're want to turn back or fall in a ditch.
I want to go work for Eirgen. Do you hire radio presenters?
Absolutely, yeah.
Damien, I just want to touch on, as you said, that you said you were overweight and you wanted to do a couch to 5K. Do you mind me asking, when you say you were overweight, what was your lifestyle like? What weight were you? And what was that trigger where you said enough is enough?
I was probably about 3 stone overweight.
Okay.
So I was close to 14 stone.
Wow, okay.
And I was carrying it all around my chin, which was good. As you do. But it was just, I had a hip injury years ago, and it had taken a couple of years to kind of get over that. So I kept the lifestyle the same. I was eating lots of chocolate, crisps, the usual, the treats on a Saturday night. So I just got to a point where I got the okay to start exercising again. So I went for it, and I said, right, couch to 5K, spent, I think, €5 on the app.
Yeah.
And just went for it.
Best €5 you ever spent.
And I haven't looked back. And there used to be guys in Eirgen running before and they'd always say, come on, why don't you come on? No. That run, not for me. No.
Yeah.
But you get into it.
It's funny, I can think of so many people who I know who are in your position who've gone the gym is just not for me, or running's just not for me, or cycling's not for me. And all of a sudden you look at them and there they are kitted out and they're heading off for their 80k cycle of a Saturday. You're like, oh, and you said you weren't into your cycling, But it's that sense of achievement that I've done it. Yeah.
I can run 10k and I can go further, which is brilliant.
Do you know what I maintain as well, right? And this is something that I would have always been very sporty, especially as a teenager growing up when I played on every team that was going, and I was always first to put my hand up, badminton team, yeah, sure, I'll take part, But, as I got to college and kind of started into my career and the team sports kind of starts to filter out, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, if I want to do something, I have to make that decision myself. Yeah. And I would imagine there's a lot of people that are like that because, as a young person, a lot of your activity is organised for you, and then as an adult you have to organise it for yourself, or at least partake in something that's organised and make that decision. But when I started running, and I never thought that I would have been able to do 5, 10k half marathons, never would have thought that would have been my thing. And then as I started to go, God, I can do 5k and I can do it quite comfortably, and I can do 10k and I can do it quite comfortably. And then in other aspects of my life I was like, what else can I do that I didn't think I could do? And I found other aspects of my life that have nothing to do with fitness were benefiting because I kind of started applying that what else can I do attitude. And I think you could apply that whether it's running or cycling or swimming or anything. But, once you kind of push those little boundaries for yourself, they definitely, I think, have a knock-on effect.
Well, it's about building confidence.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Because you do go through periods where I'm not able or I'm not capable. Or certainly when I started, I didn't think I'd be capable of running 5k. But it does build confidence. And the confidence then to keep pushing.
If somebody had said to you, in 5 years' time, you'll have run 6 marathons, you'll be...
They would have laughed at me. Go away.
What kind of time would you be doing your marathons in?
Probably the best I've done is 3:42.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. It's all right.
Oh my God.
I was happy. I'm happy with that.
I'm finishing a marathon would, is a major goal in itself. But doing it sub 4 and sub 3:45, they're phenomenal times.
It's but again, you come away from it going, I could have run it better. You always have that thing that I could have done a little bit better on it, and that's what makes you go back.
I love to hear that other people are like that. Because again, I'm coming back to episode 1 where we had a great chat with Sinead Brannigan of Sinead for Fitness, and you know, she just kept saying to me, she's like, are you competitive much? Because of even the language that I was using in the chats, you know, and she just kind of almost got into my psyche quickly by just sitting here chatting. So I was like, I can only imagine what she's like when she's your coach and she's actually out running with you, you know, which is amazing.
It is brilliant.
So you go out in these groups, right? Would there ever be times, I suppose, where somebody starts to fall behind and the group then naturally starts to break up, maybe because of people's different abilities, or is it a case of
you would have slower runners, but again, the benefit of having, say,
like hands-off.
Probably one of the key pieces, we decided that we wanted to have a couple of experienced runners with each of the groups, and one at the front and one at the back. So if someone fell back, they're not on their own. So one of the more experienced runners would just stay back and get the person through it. Because when you're on your own and you start having the doubts, that's when you'll stop. So if you have someone alongside you, again, sowing the guilt, going, come on, you can do it, you can get through it. So that's what we do. We have 2 experienced runners with each of the groups to make sure that they get through it.
That's fantastic.
And I am the slowest runner in the world.
Really? Are you are you sure you're not just being harsh to yourself?
No, I am. And I'm slower definitely than the rest of the people doing the half training.
Okay.
But there's always somebody that stays with me.
That's
or
fantastic.
else they'll go up and go, right, we'll just run to the roundabout and we'll come back and get you.
Yeah.
Or if they finish, they'll come back and get me. And that's lovely.
Yeah.
And again, it means, okay, I can't just get in the car and go home. I have to finish it because somebody's going to come looking for me.
Yeah, that's the shortest way
to the car. They come back and you're like, oh, where's Ashley? You're like, oh, look at her, she's sitting over there.
So that's definitely helps.
Yeah, brilliant. I know myself even. I run slower when I'm on my own, as you said, Aisling. I definitely don't get up the hills as comfortable, and that's not necessarily to say physically comfortable, but I'm going through all of the mental brick walls coming up those hills if I don't have my friends alongside me where you're yapping away.
But that is a huge benefit of the group. When you're in a group, you're having a chat, and suddenly 4 miles have gone by.
Absolutely.
You know, and you've had a chat, and you're like, where did that go?
Yeah.
You know, whereas when you are on your own, you do tend to get into your head a bit more, so you feel it as a little bit longer. But when you're in a group, you just chat away, and it moves pretty quick.
No, there's a lot to be said for it. Say there's people listening here and they're going, God, I want to set up a running group in my workplace. Silly question, but how do they go about it? Is it as simple as just sending that email around saying, look lads, this is what we're doing? Anyone interested? You know,
have a reason for it though.
Yeah, okay.
One of the reasons that I think encourages people is we're raising money for Waterford Hospice.
Brilliant.
So that touches so many people, and it's like, right, look, at least I'm going to do this for me to get a bit fitter, but I'm also doing it to support a really good cause. And I definitely think, you know, I've collected sponsorship money, and that's also my head going, I have to do this because I've gotten money off people to do this. So it's all an incentive.
That's you're so right. It's all those small things that don't take a huge amount of thought, but at the same time they all add up to the accountability and, you know, the determination then as well. And I find as well, and especially when you're doing it for a charity, or, you know, if it is a particular charity run, like for example the Solace Cancer Support Centre Run for Life, or if it's the marathon where you know that the proceeds are all going to a great charity and you can collect and raise money while you're doing it, I find you hit those brick walls at times, and I presume other people are like this as well, and maybe some people aren't, but you hit those brick walls at times and you're like, this is a privilege to actually be able to be in the middle of this race. It's a privilege to have my 2 legs healthy enough to put one foot in front of the other. And like the amount of times that I have to like give myself a mental slap in the face to be like, cop on and just keep going.
It is. And particularly on the marathons, you like when you get to there's the dreaded mile 20, when you get to mile 20 in a marathon, things that go through your head like, just stop. Why don't you just stop? Your mind starts saying,
why are you doing this?
But it is, you know, like we're lucky that we're able to register for these races, we're able to go out and we are able to raise money for it as well. And it is great that a lot of people think they don't have it in them to do it, but everybody does. You know,
it's funny. I interviewed Ian Kelly from Whitfield recently, an orthopaedic surgeon, and we were chatting about his patients and how to avoid becoming one of his patients, you know, because nobody wants to meet the orthopaedic surgeon professionally. And he was saying, you know, funnily enough, he was like, the people on my table, he's like, they're primarily not runners. And we spoke about, you know, runners' injuries and runners' knee, and you always hear of these runners having to go for surgery or for this or for that, but you know, he was like, a lot of that isn't caused by running. It's other stuff that kind of lends itself to then turning into injury that might ultimately need surgery or whatever. But he was saying, like, it's amazing what people can do if they push their mind to it or they push their bodies to it. And he said, actually, by running, you're improving your body. And he was like, it's, you know, he said, so it's kind of counterintuitive at times. You're like, oh, you've got pain in your knee, but actually that pain in your knee is because you haven't run enough to build up the cartilage. So when you step on it, it's sore. But actually, if you ran on it, it wouldn't be sore. You know, well, it's
I completely relate to that because, again, before I started running, I would have had issues with my knee and my hip. I would have had arthritis in my knee.
Wow, okay.
And I would have been on medication for that as well to try
and you're a young fella for having arthritis in your joints.
And it was rheumatoid arthritis that I had, you know, and I was on pretty serious medication for it. But as soon as I started running, there was no need to take that anymore. You know, it all cleared up.
Yeah. No, it is. It's very interesting. Lads, it's been a pleasure talking to you, just to get an insight into a group, especially because we have our own like little group. There's a little crew of us here in WLR. Like there might be 2 of us some days, there might be 4 of us on other days. And when I hear that you guys have 20 plus, I know, it's a huge workforce as well, but it just goes to show the possibilities and, the benefits of it as well. Damien and Aisling from Eirgen Pharma, lads, thank you so much for joining us on our Let's Get Running podcast.
Yeah, thanks a million.
Very much.
Let's Get Running on WLR.
Brought to you by West. Buy your side for a healthier world.